A very brilliant question, Nitin. Thanks for asking that. See, financial independence comes only in two phases of life, right? The first phase of life is while you're still a student, where you're in hostel, probably your food is taken care, your shelter is taken care, your day-to-day expense and your living is taken care. Right? You don't have to strive for your living. That's number one. Second, as some of our friends mentioned, when you cross your, say, for example, mid 30s or early 40s, where you would have really invested your salaries rightly and then you've created enough wealth where you do not have to really invest yourself into a 9 to 5 job for your, I would say, survival and sustenance, but it is taken care for at least a couple of years, right? I think these are the two instances where in life people get to actually behave financially independent, right? And I believe these two are the right, I would say, frameworks and right phase of life for anybody to start up. Because for students, of course, any help, anything that they need, they have already a very good network called friends, right? I would pitch in here, I would pitch in there, I would get this, and let's get going, right? And of course, by late 30s and 40s, again, the great net worth or the network comes into picture where you would have already identified right, good set of people who can kind of pitch in and then help you start up, right? So I think these are the two phases where it's a very, very safe bet. People are financially independent. They can focus on, again, as I was saying, they can focus more on the problem, the solution, and the value proposition it is giving. Nevertheless, so first of all, most of us, most of the people are into startups because they are basically consumed by their passion and their desire to solve one problem, right? Some problem or the other. Now, how innovatively one can solve the problem, and while offering the solution to the problem, is the business model built in into the offering? Has it got the intrinsic capacity of take care of the possible, I would say, costs and expenses, and then it has got the ability to sustainably run? I think this is of course, it may not apply for all industries, say for example for tech industries or e-commerce industries, which may not be the case. But in general, if it is a regular, I would say, problem solving, then I think the focus should be more on solving the issue, and in the process, while I'm solving the issue and offering the solution, offering the product or a solution to the customer, am able to make enough revenue to cover my, I would say, costs. I think that's the fundamental thing which needs to be in place, and that is why we see, of course, anyway, Kuku made disclaimers, don't take Zoho's story or Zerodha's story to be the standards. But then I think, though it is a conventional and a conservative approach, but I think it's 70-30 or 80-20, I would say, is a safe and a right approach. Because your urge and itch and dependency on funding, right, comes to as minimum as possible, and hence your scope towards growth and your longevity, right, is basically increasing. So, like you rightly said, right, I mean, as much as possible, let the problem, for example, Zoho consuming their own products, right, not only to learn but also to earn, right? So, as much as possible, ensure that your stakeholders, your customers are paying for the value that you are creating, and that is taking care of your, I would say, running costs and expenses. Invest the same into your own growth, and then let it take off to a certain level before actually the infusion of funds happen and then the growth trajectory sets in. Thank you, Nitin.